CTV family. Catch us live on your TV screen.
Welcome back to it, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching EKSE Live right here on channel 263 on your DSTV, taking you all the way through to the hour 5, bringing you very important topics, entertainment, information, as well as education. You know that the whole world has been affected by the COVID virus, COVID-19, as abantu abaninzi abathanda uyibiza ngayo, and the government is doing all it can. I don't know if they're doing their best, but
I'm sure they're doing their best.
You know, they're doing things. So if you want more assistance, unga hopper onto that toll-free line. It's 0800 123 456. Or can you visit a website, the World Health Organization? That's where you're going to find more information about COVID-19 and how you can protect yourself and the people that you love. Follow us on Twitter, it's EKSE_Live. On Facebook, it's EKSE Live. Instagram, EKSE Live. On YouTube, it's EKSE. On Cape Town TV, yes.
Absolutely, man. We always make sure that you is safe, sanitize, and wear your mask at all times. Make sure social distancing is happening at all times. We know it's level 2, almost level 1.
He's going to announce something very soon.
Are you friends with the minister?
Fellow South Africans.
Are you friends with ministers?
I plead the fifth.
Well, speaking of fellow South Africans, the next fellow South African that we're going to have a chat with is someone that is very inspirational to each and every young person out there. When I think of CEOs, I always think of men who are probably in their 50s and 40s.
Or 65.
Or 65 even. I've never imagined a 20-year-old CEO.
And most of them have not won best CEOs of the world. Sitana Nomdu that has won awards internationally acclaimed. Tony McPherson is in the studio. He's going to talk to us about his pharmaceutical business. And we're so inspired, so excited. Because you are so young, most importantly. Congratulations on your accolades. Congratulations and all of the awards that you've received, you deserve, because you're representing the future generation of successful young South Africans.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
It's an honor having you on the show. How does it feel like to be 20 and being an entrepreneur, award-winning entrepreneur?
It's an absolutely incredible feeling, but you know what I always say? Is it's the feeling that you get after hard work.
Yeah.
That's why I continue every day just to try and inspire more young people to become entrepreneurs and to work for themselves, because ultimately it's the best job ever.
Who instilled the hard work in you? Like, you do not just wake up and think, I'm going to work hard today. Where does it come from?
I come from a very entrepreneurial family. My parents have always worked for themselves. My grandfather has sat as the chairman of various publicly listed companies across the African continent. I think it's always been destined for me that I was going to work for myself. I just never planned it. That was where the surprise came in. At 15, I got asked to help build a website for my grandfather's real estate company that he just launched, and that was where it all started. So 5 years later, we're sitting here with 2 international companies, and that first one, which I started at 15, I sold a year ago.
Hey. I'm blown away. This interview is over.
2 international companies, and right now we've launched another company that is not just about making money, but it's about providing medical stock to various African companies. We know Africa is a disadvantage continent, especially when it comes to medical stocks.
Yes.
What triggered this amazing idea that you have?
I've been exporting the world's only powdered-based emergency oxygen products to Africa for the last 3 years, and I realized that the accessibility that the African relief programs have and the African governments have to medical consumables and disposables and supplies in general is very limited due to the fact that large corporations do not want to operate in that area all the time because of the many challenges that they face with delivering the products. It's an incredibly difficult area to deliver in, especially in the middle of the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the middle of Somalia, the middle of Mali, especially with all the political factors that come involved, the military factors. We just look at the coup that just happened in Mali. That was another challenge that we had to navigate as we had a shipment that was landing.
The coronavirus disease 2019 must not have made things easy for you. How did you navigate the challenges? What challenges did it come with, and how did you navigate your way through?
The coronavirus pandemic gave us many challenges that we had to face. Not all of them necessarily were bad challenges. We were very blessed that because of the industry that we operate in, that the turnover increased, the demand increased, business was doing well. The challenges that we had to navigate was when it comes to delivery. A lot of the countries had put bans on deliveries. A lot of the countries had stopped import and export due to the shortages of PPE and medical supplies in general that there was around the world. So we had to overcome that challenge. Importing and export permits were slowed down drastically as well as the exchange rate.
Yeah.
That was a very big challenge that we had to overcome, because in South Africa we're operating in rands, but a lot of the African governments are operating in dollars, in US dollars. So it became expensive for my company to purchase stock internationally. It was good to sell in US dollars, but the problem came when we had to purchase in rands, and our rands being so weak. That was a challenge we had to overcome. But I would say that my team, the problem is not over yet. Coronavirus has not been cured. But I would say that now that we're nearing the end, my team has definitely come out stronger than we were before.
Yeah. How do you choose the countries that you deliver your medical stock to? You've mentioned now that's very difficult in some countries, such as Congo, Sudan. Which are those countries that you operate in? How do you pinpoint and say, okay, my company is going to operate in this route and that route and that route?
So McPherson Trading, which is my tender-based procurement consulting company, which supplies the medical consumables and disposables, we don't sell to the general public.
Okay.
So that enables us to tender for projects within various different countries, and then also when the various countries' governments seek advice or seek other institutions to help them fill the gap. So we don't deal with people that just come to us and say, we want 50 needles and 50 syringes, or we want 300 first aid kits. We don't deal with that at all. So what happens is organizations such as the United Nations, Doctors Without Borders, Red Cross, they issue tenders for new clinics they're starting up or new projects that need to be replenished with stock. And then we put the tenders in, and if we get awarded the tender, that's how we procure the stock then.
You did mention that the gap in between hard-to-reach regions in Africa is nowhere near closing. What needs to happen for the gap to be closed?
In order for the gap to be closed in delivery of medical supplies in Africa, I strongly believe the first problem which we need to solve is the infrastructure. That's the biggest issue that us as suppliers in this field face, is the roads in order to get our delivery vehicles out to the consignee. If you look at Congo, the roads that we have to send these trucks out on have potholes bigger than myself. I can stand in the pothole and the truck can drive over me. So that really is big issues that the governments, the countries need to sort out before that gap can start getting closed.
Yeah, it's not every day where we got a 20-year-old award-winning guest on the entrepreneur on the show. And I'm sure there's so many other young 20-year-olds who aspire to be those entrepreneurs who win awards. What can our government do to support entrepreneurs like you?
At the moment, I think one of the biggest issues that the youth in South Africa is facing is the lack of education. Our youth are the future of this country, they're the future leaders of this country, and our government really needs to put more emphasis on the education of the youth, not necessarily in formal qualifications in universities or in FET colleges, but hands-on educational programs, entrepreneurial fellowships that don't necessarily need to be 4 years long like a BCom degree, but a year-long program to teach you hands-on skills, how to be an entrepreneur, the basic knowledge that you need to run your business. I think that's something our government really can put emphasis on.
And I feel like the government can do so much more than what Tony is talking about, but Z-bases nje athetha ngazo. There'll be more with Tony award-winning businessman. After this quick musical interlude, this one is Tatazela by Ucebo. Do enjoy. Later on the show, you have a music video that you want South Africa to see. Email it to exe@capetowntv.org or call us on 021-448-0448. If you just joined us and you saw that one, Kucebo with Tatazela, making us feel all festive.
I've always sent emails for my favorite music video, never played them.
And if you want us to play your favorite music videos, you are welcome to request. Visit us on Twitter, @exe_live, Facebook, exe_live, Instagram, exe_live. You're also on YouTube, where you can find most of the interviews that we've done in the past. Go exe on Cape Town TV. Our repeats are between 7 and 8 in the morning. Welcome to it if you just joined us. Sihleli Tony McPherson, who is very inspirational. At 19, he won international awards. He's 20 and he's rising and shining, and there's more to the men that is sitting on the yellow couches. We're getting inspired. Are you ready for more inspiration? Well, if you are, you're right on time.
Yes, man, I'm very inspired, I must say. As I said earlier, it's not every day where we get to have these kind of moments. So when we have it, it's always good to make sure that they last longer, just like we did right now. There's weakness when it comes to Africa's system, when it comes to delivering stock, whether it's rural areas, even in the townships. Why do you think it's like that?
I definitely think it's like that, as I mentioned earlier, because of the lack of infrastructure within the African countries. But in the present moment, there's a lot of infrastructure, investing in infrastructure in the African market, as well as development of the African governments. So I would say I hope to see in the next 5 years that gap in medical supply really starts closing, and that the accessibility that African governments and relief programs within those countries have, that they can access stock a lot easier and a lot quicker than the current lead time.
Now, one wants to become a pharmaceutical in the future. What steps do they need to take right now? They're in high school, they're watching you, Tony, and you are such an inspiration to them. What can they do to ensure that they follow in your footsteps?
I mean, to become an entrepreneur, for one, is something that you need to find inside yourself. No one can teach you to be an entrepreneur. I strongly believe that it's the environment that you grow up in, once again, nature versus nurture, but also you need to have a drive and a passion for doing what you're doing, for wanting to make a difference in the world, because that's what entrepreneurs are. They've found an issue, a problem, and they're trying to solve it. So I think in order to be an entrepreneur, you just really have to take a risk. You got to throw yourself into the deep end, because the human nature is to swim and not to sink. So you'll be really surprised by what you can accomplish if you force yourself and put yourself in no other position than to succeed. Wanting to go into a pharmaceutical side of things is a little bit different. Depending on what side of pharmaceuticals you want to go into, you might require formal training, you might require a degree if you want to be a pharmacist for an international pharmaceutical company. But if you want to go into the daily operations, or you want to go into management, into sales, there's a lot of other avenues to take other than formal training to get to you to where you want to be.
Yeah. How do you make sure that you overcome the challenges that you face as an individual, and of course your company? And how do you always make sure that people take you seriously? Because some people will be like, yo, he's 20 high weight. How do you make sure that people take you seriously and you overcome some of the challenges that you face in your daily experiences?
In the beginning of my journey, the biggest issue was my age. I mean, I was seeing clients at 15 years old.
Imagine.
And
That's
true story,
huge.
I walked into a boardroom of one of our large corporates in South Africa.
Were you not scared?
I'll get back to that now. I walked into a boardroom of one of our large corporates in South Africa, and they asked me if I'm waiting for my father. That was a real issue at my age, because people don't want to trust a 15-year-old with a multi-million rand contract. So that was something I had to intrapersonally overcome. And I think once you've just become confident in yourself and confident in your product and what you're talking about, that confidence flows over to other people and they start trusting you. You need to trust yourself before others can trust you. When it comes to the problems that my business faced, A lot of it had to do with import and export permits. A lot of it had to do with my team being a lot older than me and them once again learning to trust me.
Yeah.
So that was something that we had to overcome. But I've got an open door policy. Everyone at work is friends, we socialize, and you've got to be more than just someone's boss. You've got to be their friend and their mentor.
Yeah.
Because like I have mentors, at the same time, I am a group CEO leading a group of people internationally. But who do I run to with my problems?
Yeah.
So it's very important that you have people that can guide you in life and people that can give you advice.
Yeah, at 20, you've got an entire life ahead of you to recreate yourself, to rebrand yourself. I'm sure that there's a lot you want to do. I give you 30 years if you want to have an early retirement. But what's your future plans? What can people look forward to Tony's doings in the future?
My future plans are definitely not retirement. As much as I would love to go retire right now, I don't have the personality for it. I see myself working till the day that I, health-wise, no longer can.
Sure.
I think in terms of future plans for the business, on the pharmaceutical side, I would like our products to be part of every first aid kit in South Africa, in the world for that matter of fact, because the current legislation does not make provision for oxygen in first aid kits, which in my eyes is completely ridiculous, because oxygen is the breath of life.
Yeah,
it needs to be in every first aid kit. In terms of McPherson Trading, the supply chain management and tender-based procurement for medical supplies and disposables, consumables and disposables rather, I would like to see branches of my company open up in the various African regions that we do business, because that's really going to allow for more efficient supply chain management in those countries.
Where do we find you on the World Wide Web, your social media handles, before we let you go?
On Instagram, you can find me on Tony_McPherson1. On Twitter, you can find me on Tony McPherson ZA. On LinkedIn, it's just Tony McPherson. Facebook is just Tony McPherson as well. I think we've covered all the social media.
I think so as well.
And you're welcome to Google Tony McPherson.
Absolutely, you can absolutely, I did Google you and I found you on Google. So it's absolutely easy to get hold of this guy because he is one of the youngest CEOs across the globe, award-winning CEO.
Ladies and gentlemen, young people doing big moves right here in South Africa and recognized internationally. If there's not motivation enough for you to get up and do it for yourself, I don't know what would be. But I know what's good for you right now.
What's good?
A quick head break.
I'll be right back with more.
Yes.
CTV family, catch us live on your TV screens.